What is up, my friends, and welcome back to Cop Ultras, the podcast show. I'm your host, Puan, and I'm back today to give you guys my little preview of our next encounter in the Europa League in our Group E, which is against Union San Gilwa. You guys can shorten it down to USG. So we are going to play our next Europa League game at home. We got the 3 points the last time against Lask. Yes, we did come from one goal down. We won 3-1. Yes, in sort of difficult circumstances as well, looking at the way our team was formed in the last match day. Nonetheless, we did get the 3 points. We are top of the group, hoping to stay at the top of the group as well in the Group E. Now we are going to face USG in the Europa League, a very informed Belgian side. Before I would like to talk about the match preview in terms of USG is concerned. So plenty of debates, plenty of controversy has already occurred since last Saturday midnight as to the so-called Luis Diaz offside goal, and with the whole controversy surrounding the VAR and the PGMOL is concerned. What I can say now is there have been a few updates. So if those of you who have not been up to date as to what has been happening in the Premier League and also in terms of the VAR and PGMOL is concerned, the VAR assistant referee who was in charge of our game against Spurs, which is Darren England, he has been reportedly will not be in charge of any of Liverpool's games for the rest of the season. So I think that would be the decision which was taken by the chief refereeing officer, Howard Webb. So Howard Webb, I know all of you guys know, you have your own debates and your own controversies surrounding Howard Webb and his time as a referee, as a full-time refereeing in the Premier League. And for me personally, I do feel that this is a right step in the right direction, trying to get Darren England out of all the Liverpool games in currently and in the future. But I do feel that it's still not enough because I do feel that the punishment is not severe. Because yes, you did suspend Darren England and you have not allowed him to officiate any of our matches in the VAR is concerned for the rest of the season. That is fine, but what about other teams? My worry is that other clubs, other teams who are competing against each other, they might have the same issues as us. So that is something which is really, really serious. I think it's something that every club and every supporters should be very, very careful of, and especially all the managers and the players who are concerned. I mean, I'm not trying to put a bad reputation out of Darren England, but then with the whole messed up situation that had happened in our match against Spurs, you would not want that to happen to any other club or any other team. Any of the managers or any of the players, you would not want something like that to happen. So it's good that they took Darren England out of the spotlight and stuff like that, but I do feel that as severe that they have done him, like they did not want to allow him to, they're not going to allow him to officiate any of Liverpool matches in the future. I mean, it's still targeted towards our club, so they really have to look into at other clubs whether is he fit enough to officiate or to be the VAR assistant referee for other matches for the rest of the season, not just pointing out just the Liverpool matches. So that's about it in terms of updates. And then there was also whereby Jurgen Klopp had his press conference. He also had mentioned that he did mention something that not every manager would have expected, which was a replay to start the game 0-0 against Liverpool and Spurs with 11v11. It could happen, and that I think in the UEFA or in the FIFA rules there is a rule which is mentioned by those legal councils of FIFA and UEFA that have mentioned that if there is a mistake, if there is a human error and there is a system error, then the next course of action and the next plausible way to move forward with this is would have the match as a replay, to replay the match, go into a nil-nil scoreline, have 11v11, and start it back from scratch. But I think it's highly unlikely, and there will be too many counter arguments coming in the way of Klopp, just because he mentioned that in the press conference, having said that wanting to have a replay of Liverpool versus Spurs, which is highly unlikely and very unprecedented at the moment, because never have I have ever heard a club or a manager spoke out, about having a replay of certain matches just because a so and so rule has been broken or a protocol has not been followed, and in terms of VAR is concerned. So as far as Jurgen Klopp has mentioned, the audio didn't change it at all. I wasn't interested in why things happened, because I saw the outcome, we scored and it didn't count. I wasn't waiting for the audio and sitting there hoping I could find out how it happened or whatever. What I want to say is, it's really important, as big and important as football is, that we really deal with it in a proper way. So I mean, all the people involved, on-field referee, linesman, fourth official, and especially VAR, did not do that on purpose. We should not forget that it was a mistake, an obvious mistake, and I think there would have been solutions for it afterwards. I can say immediately, and some people won't want me to say, not as a manager of Liverpool, more as a football person, the only outcome should be a replay. That's how it is. Probably it will not happen. The argument against that is, if we open that gate, everybody will ask for it. So as far as Klopp is concerned, I think it's fair on his point of view that he wants a replay, because it's not just because he's a Liverpool manager that he's asking it. I know everyone would target him and say, you're very pro Liverpool, but then it's fair for him to ask, because from a footballing perspective, that would be the best course of action. But then it has never been done before, and then if you were to open the gate, every other club would ask for it if there were any mistakes. And because with the whole controversy that had happened, everyone would be on the throats of the VAR from that game onwards, because everyone would be targeting them, and everyone would mention, you got this you got this decision wrong, why not you replay the whole match, start it from scratch, why not do something like that. So and he has also mentioned, probably would not happen. The argument against this, you open the gate, everybody would ask for it. And I think the situation is that unprecedented, that it didn't happen before. I'm 56 years old, and since 50 years in football, and I don't always deal well with it, but I'm used to wrong decisions. So I mean, that's about what I would want to get in terms of Klopp's dialogue within the press conference that that he did with the upcoming match against USG. So with that being said, I don't want to talk too much about it. I already ranted about it in my previous episode. All I want to do is just move on, focus on the next match that we have, which is against USG. That is more important, because we have also a bigger game coming up on Sunday, which is against Brighton. So a lot of games coming thick and fast right before the international break in October, but important games as well. I'm expecting Liverpool to get 3 points against USG, and also Brighton as well. I'm hoping that with the way that we had performed against Spurs, yes, we did lose, but then with the way that we had performed, I'm expecting that the fans, not only just in Anfield tomorrow, but all those around the world would give much needed support and much needed love for the players. I know that Anfield will be roaring, we'll be absolutely mad as in, everyone would be, celebrating the players and trying to push them and trying to get the 3 points against USG, and that's the most important part right now. I mean, VAR, yes, the controversy has happened. Let's move on. Let's see what happens. And now, I would like to jump into the talking points of our match against USG. So let's jump right into it. So coming into our talking points of our preview against USG, we did get a hard-fought 3 points in Austria against Lask. luckily there was no red cards and stuff like that, but there were a bunch of yellow cards and stuff like that. We were behind 1-0. We came back to win it 3-1. Now we are at the top of the group, against in the group E of the Europa League. So some of the key points that I would like to speak about is mainly the team news, especially in the injury department is concerned. So I think the most notable one would be Cody Gakpo. So he would not be available for us to feature in this game. Klopp has mentioned that I think it's a knee injury, but then it's not a very serious knee injury. So most probably within a 1 month time period, you would expect Cody Gakpo to return. Most likely, it would be earliest of early November, but you will not. It will be highly unlikely you would see him feature straight away. Looking at the fact that we did have a few injuries back then with Trent and Konate. Most probably, and we are still having injuries with like Thiago, who is still recovering. Bajcetic is also a doubt as well. I would come back to him later. So looking at all these factors, I don't think that Klopp would opt to play Cody Gakpo too early. He would take his time with him, let him recover fully, get him into the game slowly, maybe as a substitute. So you would see mostly the likes of Jota or Darwin Núñez come in and stand in for us and play as well. So in terms of team news, what I've seen is Darwin Núñez. Yes, he was seen in training yesterday. He had a strapping on his right knee. So I think it kind of explains the fact that why he was absent in the game against Tottenham. In my personal opinion, I would have expected him to feature for us against Tottenham, but then I think with the whole situation with the 2 red cards and all that, he was about to come on, but then for defensive reasons and for technicality issues with the red cards that we had received, so he did not feature. So I think the knee that he strapped his right knee, I think probably he must have gotten the injury during the international break previously, which was in September. So him managing it carefully, it's good on him, because he did perform despite the injury. I think he had 8 appearances. He's already had 4 goals, which is a very, very good return for us. So hopefully he will feature for us in this game against USG. And another team news would be Thiago Alcantara and Stefan Bajcetic, which I mentioned earlier as well. They are the most notable absentees in this team training that they had yesterday. So Thiago, who is expected to come back this month, but most probably he would unlikely be available for us yet, because he's still trying to recover from his hip surgery. And Bajcetic as well, they have a little bit of a doubt for him as well, a major doubt. So most probably he would not feature for us in this game against USG. But I think some of the setback that that happened to Bajcetic was most probably during the Carabao Cup match against Leicester City. So that is done. And then the other team news would be Bobby Clark, who was still absent from training session, potentially meaning that his debut in the Europa League could be delayed. But then we did see Jarell Quansah and Ben Doak were already present in the team training, and also they participated in it. So most likely you would expect to see Ben Doak and Jarell Quansah feature for us again in the Europa League as well. So another young player was Luke Chambers, who also participated in the training session as well. So as far as team team news, injury news and all that is concerned, you would expect a couple of changes as well in our team facing against last on Friday. So the next one would be us facing Union SG at Anfield. So with the whole controversy, with the whole with the Liverpool VAR and the refereeing and PGMOL taking the headlines, I think it's high time that we had another match to shift our focus, and now the focus is now on to us facing Union SG in the Europa League at Anfield. So hopefully there is no Champions League anthem this season. It's going to be Europa League. It's no different to Jurgen Klopp as well, because when he came in his first season, he did manage our club with while competing in the Europa League. So it's a good opportunity for both the teams to compete. Union SG are in a good form as well. I think we can expect a good competition today. Sorry, we can expect a good competition on Friday against Union SG as well. And let's see what happens. I hope the fans give our players a boost, support them all out. They did play for us, being 9 men down, being 2 men down, receiving 2 red cards and putting that kind of a performance that you would rarely ever see in a team who has had 2 red cards, which you even rarely see, teams getting 2 red cards. But with the performance that they had produced for us against Tottenham Hotspur, you would definitely have to tip your hat for them, and please go on and support them. Maximize it. I know Anfield will be in full force, so let's see what happens. So now coming into the next talking point would be our prediction in terms of what the Liverpool 11 is going to be. So I'm guessing Liverpool's starting 11 against Union SG would be not much of a difference compared to when we faced Lask. So in the goalkeeping position, you would expect Kelleher, you would expect Gomez, Konate, Kwanzaa to start. Gomez, yes, as a right back. You could also see Trent come in playing as a right back for us as well. It's good to have your vice captain back in action. So hopefully, most probably, you would see Trent coming in as the right back in this game. Or if not, you would see Joe Gomez going in at right back, and then in the defensive positions, in the centre back positions, you would expect Jarrell Kwanzaa as well, who featured for us in the game against Lask. You would also expect Joel Matip or Ibu Konate. Either one of them, you would expect them to start. And also you would have Kostas Tsimikas in the left back position, and then you would have Endo, Gravenberch and Curtis Jones maybe, because he is available for us in this European match, in the Europa League match against USG. So most probably you would see Curtis Jones or maybe Harvey Elliott in the midfield position, and then on the front three you would see maybe the likes of Harvey Elliott or Luis Diaz with Jota or Darwin Núñez, and Ben Doak maybe coming on for replacing Mo Salah in this match. So very, very interesting to see how we would line up. I think especially in the centre half position and as well as in the front three. But in the midfield, yes, there would be a lot of chopping and changing. You would expect Endo to have his second full 90 minutes to play against USG in this game. Harvey Elliott, most probably I would like to see him in the midfield position supporting Ben Doak and Luis Diaz or Curtis Jones. If Curtis Jones were to play in this match, I would likely see him play in the midfield position. And for Gravenberch, it's a good opportunity for him to show his full potential as well. We saw his potential against Lask. It was really good. He had an assist in the game as well. Technically very, very good. Had a good control of the ball, played almost in the full 70-80 odd minutes for us. So hopefully I would like to see Gravenberch play for us as well in this game. So a lot of potential to see a lot of players coming in and a lot of squad rotation happening. So looking forward to it. And then the next talking point is the in-form opposition, which is USG. So I've had some news here as well. Union SG are coming into the fixture in a good form, like I mentioned earlier. So now they have gone top of the Belgian Pro League. Credit to them as well, and they have won 3-1 over strugglers Charleroi and manager Karel Gerrits. It's a very interesting name there. Karel Gerrits has declared his team can now think and talk about Liverpool and absolute highlight game. So we are looking forward to a good challenge from Union SG. So never doubt them. They are at the top of the league in their league, the Belgian Pro League. let's see what happens. So in their first game of the group, Union SG were held to a 1-1 draw at home by, I think it was by Toulouse. Yes, Toulouse is part of our group as well. So it was, they won at least two of their home games, and it's a good requirement for them to progress as well. So they are coming in form with a good league form, maybe not in the Europa League, but in their Belgian Pro League. So it's kind of like putting extra pressure on them to come to Anfield, where they'll be putting in the performances of their career if possible. So that is about in terms of what we would expect from Union SG. And also not to forget, there is actually one interesting fact. There is, we are going to see the McAllister's play. So McAllister's play, meaning our club has signed Alexis McAllister, Argentinian, who has a brother who plays for Union SG, whose name is Kevin McAllister. So most probably you would not see Alexis McAllister feature in this game. Maybe he might come on as a substitute. I don't expect to see Alexis McAllister play in the first half especially, or start the game. So guys, about Kevin McAllister and Alexis McAllister being done, hopefully there will be a battle of the brothers going on in Liverpool versus USG. So coming to the next talking point is our stats heading into this match against the USG in the Europa League. So Liverpool have won 12 of our last 13 group games in European competition dating back to 2021. So in terms of officiating, we have not been very fantastic. So we have received 4 red cards in our last 8 games, having taken 261 matches to receive the 4 prior to that. So I think to be really fair, having 4 red cards in 261 matches is still okay. Mo Salah as well, in terms of stats is concerned, he might not start at Anfield, which, like I said previously in my formation and team lineup ahead of this match, Mo Salah might not start, but he did make he has made 5 substitute appearances for Liverpool in all of our European competitions, and has scored 5 times in those games. So astonishingly, this means he's averaging a goal as a sub every 13.5 minutes, which is a very very stat. So on the pitch, starting a game, coming on as a sub, you would expect goals from Mo Salah, and he will score. So and another thing is, should Ben Doak score, he would become only the second 17-year-old after Michael Owen, who was 17 years and 276 days old in 1997, to score for Liverpool in Europe. And Ben Doak would be 17 years old and 328 days old. So he would be second in terms of 17-year-olds scoring in the European competitions as far as we're concerned. So that's about it in terms of stats. Looking into stats and in this game, the refereeing, VAR, that is another talking point, but then I don't want to elaborate too much on it. I'm just going to give you a heads up on who is it. The man in the window will be Morten Krogh Hansen from Denmark, while the lead VAR is Roy Reinschreiber. We are sure they will have seen the fallout from Saturday's match, so hopefully they will be on full alert in this game as well. Morten Krogh Hansen, his assistants are also Danish, which is Dennis Rein Wallenberg Rasmussen and Stefan Beck Bramsen, as is 4th official Mikkel Redder. So that's about it in terms of who's the referee, who's the VAR, who's the 4th official, and who are the linesmen as well. So I don't really know too much about them, but I'm just hoping that these guys are going to officiate the match better than what Simon Hooper and Darren England and Dan Cook have done with the whole cock up with the match against Spurs. So with that being said, I've already come towards the end of my preview for Liverpool versus USG in the Europa League. Thank you so much for you guys for taking your time to watch my episode. Do follow my social handles as well on TikTok, on Instagram, on Spotify, and also on YouTube as well. You can follow, you can also listen to my podcast channel, and you can view my podcast video as well on Spotify as well, and as well on all the other podcast links that I'll be putting in down in the description. Do head on over, have your time, have a good listen to it. Do definitely like this video, also like, share, subscribe, follow all my social handles as well. I'll be uploading some sneak peeks over there as well. I'll be also trying to see if I can put in some of my lineups and formations heading into the match against USG. So with that being said, thank you so much. Have a good day. Hopefully we can get the 3 points against USG on Friday early morning, 3 a.m. Malaysian time. And thank you so much for watching, and see you guys soon, and you'll never walk alone. Take care, guys.